marrying her.
To your point, marriage is not the ultimate goal for me.
Let's pause it right there. This is a clear case of absolute Bushido. Hey guys, it's your favorite dating and relationship coach, Little Black Book 91. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Ain't done that for a little while, man. Stay hydrated. You know, the streets out here are hot. Listen, we're talking to you guys about Cam Newton. Listen, let me be very honest with you and very real with you. We are talking about marriage, okay? I want you to understand that we're talking about marriage. I want to be very, very clear. The question was so clear and clear cut. It was a yes or a no question. It was a closed question. There was no need for an open answer because the question was closed. Do you see yourself marrying her? And then he shifts the perspective to not being about that question. He shifts it to somewhere else to deflect and create Bushido, which is absolute bull. And then it focuses elsewhere. So you almost kind of forget that he never answered that question. But I'm sure Dr. Sarah was right on point. She heard what she heard and knew that he wasn't answering a question. And that lets us know that, Jazz, I want to be very honest with you, you're about to be embarrassed again. If you want marriage, if you want that commitment, even if you want the monogamy, you ain't gonna get it, because this is a brother who's making up the rules for however he wants to make up the rules. Whilst he spoke honorably, and powerfully, a couple of the other conversations that he had, we can hear the Bushido in this one, right? You know, if it was a situation where both him and Jazz had agreed they weren't going to get married, he'd have said, "Me and Jazz already had a conversation about marriage. We don't want to do marriage." But he never said that. He said, hey, he went into a diatribe and into a space of actually speaking from a political space. What I mean by that, a political answer where you kind of deflect from the original question to give a political answer. He never actually answered the question. Jazz, if I was you, I'd pack your bags and get running if you want marriage. If you don't want marriage, then by all means, stick around for the ride. But if you want marriage, trust me, he's not going to be the one. His fears, as he told us already, outweigh his want to commitment. But let's talk a little bit more, because there's a lot more happening in this particular episode. So before we go on further, make sure you press that like button, press the subscribe button, and join this channel as well. And don't forget to join our membership. It's £1, it's $1, and you get to join in with our exclusive lives that we do regularly as well. Let's get into the video and let's break this all the way down.
Do you see yourself marrying her?
To your point, marriage is not the ultimate goal for me.
So marriage is not the ultimate goal for him. But the question was, do you see yourself marrying her? So no, you don't see yourself marrying her, right? Because marriage is not the ultimate goal for you.
I do want to get married.
Well, that's good.
I do. But listen, so the thing.
Oh, hold on. I do want to get married. No, look, and you can see the stress on her face. She's like, damn, this is hard work. We've been 51 minutes in. He out here going round and round in circles. She's stressed. Okay. All right. She knows she's stressed because she's not getting a straight answer from him. And he's not being straight about it. He's bullshitting. He's bullshitting. Bullshito. Okay. All right. Woo. Yeah. He's bullshitting. All right.
Think about that word of, well, marry the girl. I'm not saying that to you directly. I'm saying that to the people who see this and their response. We're so trauma bond by this.
Now let's pause it right there. He's about to do something really, really interesting, you know, and I probably should break this down in another way on my actual dark arts channel, because this is actually dark arts, what he's doing, right? It's actually full on dark arts. It's manipulation, right? Because he's shifting the whole narrative to being about us when it's not about us. It was the question is not to us. The question is to him. The question is about him. It's not about us. So whatever our thought process is, you don't need to address us yet. Address the question, then address the issue, right?
Thought of get married, have kids. That's the way that the propaganda of life that everybody has been putting in our faces to say, okay, get married, have kids, whatever. Not or overlooking or not identifying that that's still a way for the devil to dwell in.
You know, I have to say
the devil to dwell in where, my brother? Okay, all right. The Bible says that the married couple should not abstain from sex for too long, because, you know, the devil can get in. The Bible talks about how, you know, don't give the devil a foothold in your relationships, you know, by staying angry with each other. Yes, but where is the devil playing around here where you don't want to commit to a marriage, but you want to commit to a marriage, but you don't want to commit to Jazz, but you don't want to commit to Jazz? Where's the devil in that? The devil is in, the Bible says that we should not be ignorant of the devices of the enemy. Okay, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So you're about to steal her time, you're about to kill her confidence, and you're about to destroy the fact any hope or trust or faith she's about to have in you and a chance of being married if she continues down this lane. Because in reality, he didn't mention once more again, he did not mention, you know, me and Jazz agreed, we don't want to get married. He didn't mention that. It's always solely about what he wants, which is fair, because he's the one that's talking right now. But then we're not hearing some concrete, concise answers about what he wants to do. Let's listen a bit more.
So marriage for me, when I think about marriage, right, we have to understand that, first of all, a marriage license, which is different from marriage, but I think a lot of people get caught onto the marriage license part, wasn't even established. It's really new. It happened in 1929, and it happened so that black men couldn't marry white women. It was illegal. So now you can't get your marriage license. You're not really married. That's what the marriage license is rooted in. But I do believe that if, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about anyone in general, this is just my opinion, if you found a person that you feel in alignment with, that a man, because I feel like men don't even feel safe to be themselves in 2024. You know, there's all of these different things trying to be like, you need to be a man. You can't be vulnerable. If you cry, I'm gonna leave you. Like, oh, so you're telling this man he can't be human is essentially what you're saying. If you're not a safe space for him, why would you choose him? But what I hear, and when I hear people that say, I have a woman that makes me feel safe, that makes me feel seen, that makes me feel heard, I understand why it'd be like, let me choose this person because I want to honor her in that way. Now, for me, when I think about marriage, there's a difference between marriage, which I think God has to be in the picture. And if it's not a God thing, I don't think marriage should even really exist because God is the barometer, right? That's the intent.
Now, let's pause it right here. Here's the key thing, right, that she just exposed. If this woman's such a safe space, if this woman's such a, you know, a loving, doting woman, this woman is challenging you, making you want to be better, making you want to be more grown, then why wouldn't you want to marry her? The reality of the situation is, I'm going to say it again, men marry what they value. When Adam met Eve, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh were the words that he described, came out of his mouth, the revelation, the understanding. And that is what I believe that most men will have when they encounter that right one. Now, do I believe there's more than one? Yes. But when they meet that right one, it speaks to your soul, not just your eyes. It lines up your spirit as well as your flesh, as well as your mind. You see her, you find her attractive. You're around her, you like her. And everything about her is amazing, right? You love everything about her. You want to be with her. You want to secure her. You see the value in her. And so it forces you as a man to go and grab and take what you believe is yours, quote unquote. I'm using it as an analogy. So the fact that he's not trying to marry her, but wants to get married but doesn't want to marry, tells me that although he sees her as a great woman, it's not his great woman. I say this a lot of times, men can love you but not like you. And right now, Cam may love her but not like her. It's just a real situation. And a lot of men don't even realize they're doing it because actually they lack a self-awareness in that space. I was one of those men, I can tell you that for sure, right? Because I dated women and I thought I really liked them and loved them. But when I really deeped it, and I remember in those moments where I actually had to be around them for long periods of time, I didn't even like them because I didn't even like me. I was not fully in love with me. And I don't mean on a narcissistic level. I mean, fully getting to like who I was and all the things that come along with me. And not trying to shy away, hide away, and not present who I really am and truthfully can be. And so I never felt safe being me. So how was I going to provide a safe space for you to be you? And if I couldn't be all of me and couldn't love all of me, how can I love all of you? You know what I'm saying to you? The Bible says that the husband should lay down his life for the wife like Christ did the church. But it says that the husband should love his wife like he loves himself. And in reality, how can you do that if you don't love you? How can the husband or someone want to be a husband to love a wife when he doesn't love himself all the way through? And when I say you don't love yourself, what I mean by that is you've not dealt with the wounds that you're carrying, the emotional wounds that you suffered from as a child. You've not dealt with that, and they are playing a role in the way that you operate in relationships. You are too interested in power and control. Your inability to want to be vulnerable is really about you being afraid to be able to be exposed all the way to allow the person room and the ability to actually hurt you. See, emotional connection and emotional availability really is about you being able to receive and to give. Many people can give, many people can receive, but a lot of times a lot of us can't do both because we're afraid of doing one or the other because it exposes us. And that exposure is scary, because where would it take me? Cam Newton isn't going to marry Jazz, and if he does, by the grace of God, it's an anomaly, because a man that waits this long to marry her usually isn't going to marry her. Did we not see this with Jim Jones and Chrissy? That she tried to even have to marry him and he didn't want to marry her? Did we not see that already? Now we got Janine Aiko and what's his name? Sean? I can't remember his name. You know me, I'm not very good at these names. I'll be killing everybody's names, right? And, you know, we're not seeing them get married, right? We're seeing a lot of couples that are not going to get married. And whilst I do believe it is a godly thing, absolutely is a godly institution. Absolutely right. And you don't need marriage to be quote unquote together. But because we have a society standard, which is marriage, and because most of our society obeys that standard, you getting married isn't about, oh, because I'm not a godly person, I'm not marrying. People who are not of God were marrying all the time because, again, once more, it was about the social standing. And plus, legally, it works in your favor to get married. So this isn't about you being more godly. Listen to this.
Integrity point. But I also think that a marriage license, if you're not a God-fearing person, that's solely in protection of the person that you met.
For sure.
And if you have a good person, then it's almost like, you want to know my idea of a marriage of like the non-godly version. This is what I would say for people that are like, you meet a good person. I believe we should leave people off better than we found them. So the first 3 years, oh, wash your hands. You take what you had, I'm gonna take what I have, like we're good. 5 to 10 years in a prenuptial agreement, this is what it looks like for you. 10 to 15 years, this is what it should look like for you. 15 to 20 years, this is what it should look like for you. And 20 plus years, this is what it should look like. Why? Because when you have a good, solid, virtuous, feminine woman innately, like I wish, and I say this all the time, I wish that I wasn't wired in a way to automatically seek my man's need first. I'm not wired that way. I wish that I could just be like, oh, forget about him. Immediately I go into helpmate. Immediately I go into what can I do? Immediately I go into what does he need? Immediately I go into, I literally can read this man's mind because I'm studying him. I know when his breath changes. I know when he's upset. I know when he's pretending like he's not upset. And because I learn in that way, automatically that is a whole new level of capacity because it's a human, which is going to take away from what it is that I'm building. And if I'm taking away from what it is that I'm building, which by the way is kind of awesome. But if I'm going to allow that to be diminished in a way, then why wouldn't a man want to say, you know what, I'm going to leave her better than I found her? Because there's no way that there's never been a man I've been with that hasn't grown while I'm with him. It's just not realistic. It's just not, it's not in their bank account, not in their mentality, not in their emotional state, not in their sense of freedom, not in their sense of self. That has never happened, which I also, you know, not to just for clarity, I've never been broken up with. Right. And so inside of these experiences, it's like, okay.
Everyone's got a little humble brag in it. No, nothing against Dr. Sarah, but everyone's got a humble brag. Dr. Bryant had a humble brag about, you know, all my exes come back to me. She's got a humble brag as well. You know, I've never been broke up with. Hey, listen, I hear it. Humble brags.
Well, maybe, just maybe, we need to stop looking to date the people that just want the perception, that just want the dating experience, that just want the bags and the cars and the things, and look for the good woman who really wants to be your helpmate in a way that you would feel good if you get married and it doesn't work out. That's human too. But if you're really.
So I want to end it because I don't want the video long. I think the clear thing here is that what she was kind of alluding to towards the end is, listen, if you meet a good woman who's feminine, who's fit, who's fine, who's a helpmate, who's considering you, submissive, wanting to do what you wanted to do, why would you not want to collect and scoop her? In reality, the situation is Jazz did all of those things, and he still hasn't scooped her. He still hasn't made her his number one. When I say by that, what I mean by that is marriage. And all this talk about, you know, not everyone has to do marriage, etc., etc. But is that your person? Right? Because we knew that you were still having sex with other women before you got to that point with Jazz. And the reality of the situation is because you don't believe that is your person. Look, a man who believes that's his person will not waste time. He will find a way. Right? Even if his proposal is short of financial ability, he'll find a way. The reality of the situation is that he's not sure. He's not sure about you. He's not sure about himself. He's not sure about this relationship. He's not sure about the longevity of it. And that's why he's not going forward with it. People do what they are trained to do, and they go after what they believe they can get. And the reality is he doesn't believe that that is a right relationship for him. And so Jazzy will never get married to Cam Newton. I mean, there's a chance. There's always a chance. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. Don't forget, we have the 100 Club next week. We'd love to see you guys around to join us for the offline conversations that we have as well. Join the 100 Club and get involved, baby. Appreciate you guys. Locked, loaded. We'll see you again soon. Much love, much appreciation.